What?
What?
What the hell is this?
Harumph. I didn't get a harumph out of that guy.
Give the governor harumph.
Harumph!
You watch your ass.
I see you shiver with anticipation.
Let the show begin.
Hey everybody, this is David Heretic coming at you with another edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. And tonight's... Okay, I hope I pronounced this name right. Making their debut on the channel tonight! Huh. We have... Oh boy, I hope I pronounced this name right. Seikima-II? Yes, I hope that's right. Yes indeed, how about that? Seikima-II making their debut on the channel. Okay, this comes as a request from Brett Parks, and this was actually Brett Parks' prioritized request for the month of March for being a silver tier member on the Patreon page. So here you go, Brett. I hope you enjoy the show. Brett wanted to see me react to this song. Apparently, from Seikima-II, this is a bass solo by their bass player, who I have no idea what his name is. It's the bass solo and the beginning of Demon's Night. The beginning of the song, I don't know if I'm going to include that or not. I think Brett just wanted me to watch the bass solo, so I'm probably just going to do that, more than likely. I think that's a pretty safe bet. Now, have I heard the song before, or seen this bass solo before, or heard this bass solo before? No, I've never even heard of this band before, so I hope I'm pronouncing it right. To the best of my knowledge, I've never seen this, I've never heard this, so I think it's pretty safe to say that it does not resonate with me in any way, shape, or form. However, there's always a possibility I may have heard or seen this in passing and I just don't realize it. So as always, if I start listening to this and I go, wait a minute, I've heard this before, I'll let you know.
That's the truth.
You know me, I'm going to be honest with you guys. This was posted by Mesa X1, and the video has 591,035 views. It'll get you there. Other than that, there's really nothing else left to say. Link to the original video will be down below in the video description for your viewing pleasure at your leisure. Let's get started. What do you say? Are you ready? Are you ready? Because here we go. All right, here we go. Seikima-II, I hope I pronounced that right. Seikima-II, bass solo and beginning of Demon's Night. Like I said, we're probably going to skip the whole Demon's Night part more than likely. I have a feeling Brett just wanted me to watch the bass solo. All right, let's do this.
All right, boy, let's do this.
Great popping technique. Anybody else here getting shades of Bootsy Collins? Anybody else besides me? Come on, man. That is absolutely Bootsy's style. Riding on that bottom E while the thumb while the fingers are hitting the chords. That is absolutely Bootsy, without question. Especially when the drums kicked in with that funk feel. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I'm feeling that, man. I am absolutely feeling that. His popping technique is immaculate. Like, Not so much the slapping. The slapping it's a little big, if I'm being honest. I mean, it's not totally tight, but look, everybody has their techniques. Everybody has their way of doing things. Here's the thing. It doesn't matter how big the thumb comes up, how high it comes off. It doesn't matter. Here's what matters. Did it work? Did it sound good? Okay then. No complaint, All I'm saying is, compared to his popping and how tight his popping technique is, you can barely see his fingers move. His fingers are like doing this. That's it. That's the extent of motion in his fingers when he's doing his popping. Super tight. Super tight. By comparison, his thumb is moving quite a bit. It's going up and down against the string as opposed to like a grazing motion like you're supposed to do. Can't tell you how many funk bass players I've known. Bootsy Collins, first one that comes to mind. He doesn't graze that, man. He takes his thumb, he winds up, and he hammers that string. Same thing here. I'm digging it. I'm absolutely digging it. He's so relaxed. Walk up, L pattern, walk up. Nice. Okay, gonna pause there. He really likes doing the open string against the noted string. He likes hitting that open E, and while hitting the open E and keeping that open E going, he loves playing a melodic line above that open E on like the up on the neck on like the D and the G strings. Very cool. Very cool. I'll do a lot of that too when I like using the open E. I also like doing against the D. I play a 6 string, remember. I have a couple other strings I get to work with. So I'll do like the open D, and while keeping that open D going, I'll go up on the G and the C string, and I'll do a lot of the same things. It sounds full. When you do it like that, you can get like 3 notes going at once if you know how to play it right. You can have like 2, 3. Hell, if you want to do an open A, you could get 4 notes going at once. If you want to go down to the E, you could get 5 notes going at once. Now that's a bit much. 5 notes going at one time, that's a bit much. Even 4 is a bit of a stretch. I would never want to do more than 3 notes, honestly. At that point, you get past 3 notes, it starts to sound a little jumbled. It starts to sound a little muddy, or as us bass players like to call it, a little moogie. It doesn't sound good. It's just like, So I dig what he's doing, man. Everything he's doing sounds good. It sounds fantastic. I dig it. He's got great technique. He's got good feel. Good use of dynamics too. It sounds really good. Let's keep going here and see what he does next. Nice. Okay. Yeah. neck. A little dirty there, but that's okay. Sounds like it's ending. Sounds like the song's about to kick in. Let me see if I'm right. Nope. Okay, now the song's kicking in. Okay. Yeah, that was a nice solo. Really nice solo. For a lot of reasons, actually. I was actually pretty impressed with that. Let me go. I don't have to think very much. There's only a couple things I want to talk about, but I just want to organize it and make sure I don't go on for too long on one thing. So let me get my thoughts together. I'll see you in the review. We'll talk about it. Well, there you go, folks. That was Seikima. I hope I pronounced it. Seikima-II. I hope I pronounced that right. With just a bass solo by the bass player. Then the beginning of Demon's Night, which I didn't do. So I didn't think that was important, especially as it was only like a minute of the song anyway. So I was like, we'll pass on that. This was a request from Brett Parks, and this was actually Brett's prioritized request for the month of March for being a silver tier member on the Patreon page. So there you go, Brett. I hope you enjoyed the show, man. Okay, so I thought about this, and yeah, I got a score here, and I feel good about the score. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm gonna give that an 8.3. Yep. 8.3. I feel great about that score. Let me tell you why.
Why?
Okay. If Bootsy Collins was to have had a love child with Gene Simmons in makeup from Kiss, that would have been this guy.
That's the truth.
I love this guy's look, man. I do. I really dug the way he looks. The makeup looked tight. The makeup looked good. The hair looked good. The accessories, the horns looked good. The costume looked good. He just visually, he was eye-popping. He really was. You had no choice but to keep your eyes on him just from the way he's dressed, okay? His playing was, it was great. Let's just call a spade a spade. It was great. It was great playing. Have I heard other bassists do similar? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I've heard a lot of bass players play like that. Have I heard better bass players do it better than him? Yeah, I have. You look at Stanley Clarke, you look at John Patitucci, you look at Kim Stone. I mean, you look at Yako. I mean, there you go. That pretty much says it all right there. Bootsy Collins, of course, comes to mind. Victor Wooten, Jimmy Haslip from the Yellow Jackets. I mean, you see a lot of bass players who know how to pop and slap. And I'm gonna be honest with you, these guys do it better than this guy did. Okay, now, does that mean that this guy did a bad job? Absolutely not. I would definitely say this guy, puts 90% of other bass players to shame with his popping and slapping. 90%, okay? That means only 10% of the bass players out there probably do it better than him. Those are good numbers. Those aren't even good numbers. Those are great numbers. I wish I was in the top 10%. I wouldn't even put myself in the top 50%. I'm like down in like the 40s. Somewhere down there. I'm good. I'm solid. But, like, my popping and slapping isn't as good as his. I'll just say it straight up like that, okay? It's not as good. I can pop and slap pretty well. Not as well as he does. His popping in particular, tight. Really tight. Good discipline on his popping. Not letting the hand yank on the string and pull on the string. And, treat the string like it's a bowstring on an archery bow. I've seen a lot of bass players do that, where they will literally hook their fingers deep into that string, and they will pull that string 2 to 3 inches off the neck. And I'm sitting here cringing every time I see that, going, oh my God, you are gonna break your string. Now this guy, great discipline on the popping. His slapping, if I'm being honest, the slapping was a little big. It was a little big, but he made it work. He made it work. It sounded good. It never, okay, well, there was a couple of little places where it did get a little dirty towards the end, but look, it's all in the spirit of rock and roll, right? I mean, just the fact that he's even doing that as a rock bass solo is pretty cool. But everything he did sounded good. His technique was good. He used a lot of open string resonating against the chord techniques, which I do too. It sounds good. It makes the bass solo sound full. It keeps the bass solo from sounding hollow and thin. It helps fill out the sound and keep things moving and keep things interesting. I get it. Believe me, I get it. I love doing that stuff too. But like I said, I play a 6, so I'll usually stay on the D. I'll keep the open D and I'll fiddle around on my G and C string up here on the neck to fill up and get the chords going with that open D, which I'll constantly hammer with my thumb and keep that D going. Or sometimes I'll go on to A, but that's not too often. I'm usually up on the D. But it's a great technique, and he did it very well on the E, which is even cooler. The last thing, his showmanship. Great showmanship. Getting the crowd involved. Most bass players, when they're doing their bass players, they're not going to do that stuff. They're just going to focus on what they're playing, and that's it. This guy took an approach very similar to like what Gene Simmons would do during like, the Lick It Up tour and the Animalize tour and the Asylum tour and Hot in the Shade tour, where he would play a really simple bass line and he would get the crowd involved, get them clapping, get them chanting, and he would play pa, 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 stuff like that. This guy took a very similar approach, I dig that. Listen, are bass solos the most impressive part of the show? No, they're not meant to be. As a matter of fact, a lot of people are kind of cringe when they hear there's going to be a bass solo. They're like, oh God, no. That's what a lot of people do. Which is funny. They're fine with drum solos, but bass solos, no. There's actually a joke about that. If you guys ever want to hear me tell the joke, I'll tell the joke. It's a good joke, but I'm not going to take the time to tell it now. But anyway, he did a great job with the showmanship, moving around the stage, interacting with the crowd while playing a bass solo. And I gotta give a special shout out to the drummer. Great funk feel on those drums, man. Way to really kind of help set up that solo for what it was and back him up and help fill out the sound. So I know a lot of bass players are like, no, if I'm gonna do a solo, I want to do it all by myself.
I respectfully disagree.
When I do my bass solos, I love it when I play with the drummer because the drummer helps. The drummer helps out a lot. Keep the solo going, which is, I know a lot of people are like, what do you mean by that? What I mean by that is this. When you're doing a bass solo in particular, it can hollow out pretty fast. If you have a drummer backing you up, it helps out quite a bit, fill out the sound, and make the solo sound a little more like a song than just a solo. So, bass players, I know you want the spotlight, I get it, but seriously guys, if you want to do a solo, let the drummer play with you. I promise you, it'll make your life a lot easier. Now, this was a really great solo. I dug it. I had a lot of fun watching it and a lot of fun listening to it too. The guy's got some great technique, moved around the stage, interacted with the crowd, put on a good show. And that's ultimately what you want from a solo. It doesn't matter if it's bass solo, drum solo, guitar solo, whatever. As long as it's fun, it's entertaining, and everybody's having a good time, that is what matters. And this guy did a really great job of it, which is why he's getting an 8.3. So, 8.3, final score, I have spoken. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. Hope you all enjoyed the show. Hopefully I was able to entertain you. If I was able to put a smile on your face and brighten your day, I did my job, and I'm so glad I could do it. If you guys feel like joining the fan base, go ahead and click on that button down there. If you guys want to like the video, go ahead and like the video. If you guys want to ring the bell, go ahead and ring the bell. It honestly doesn't make any difference to me, but if you guys feel like doing these things, then by all means, go ahead and do so. Well, that's going to do it for the night, folks. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, this is David Heretic signing off, reminding you to stay fabulous and support each other. Later. Peace.